I'm DMS, you're watching The Headphone Show, and this is Joshua Valour. You asked him some questions on Twitter, and I'm going to ask those questions to him.
Oh, they're
and myself.
For me?
Well, they're
okay.
questions for both of us.
They're questions for us.
Golden Sound asks, how do magnets work?
You hit me with this question again. I don't even think people who know, you know?
Well, now I want a studio tour. We can't really do that because you're
Studio tour. I have a studio tour though. It is probably just called the Josh Valour Studio Tour. Yeah, it's called the Awesome Studio Tour. It's kind of narcissistic sounding, but yeah, it exists. So thanks, Brandon.
Joshua Valour. What do you think about that?
Yes.
Resolve Reviews also asked, why does this picture look like an angry version of the famous scene from the Titanic?
You're the rich lady in this scenario. You want to sit on my couch and I can paint you?
Yeah, like one of your French girls?
Yeah.
That means you die at the end of the movie, though.
How much velour could a Valour velour if a Valour could velour? I would velour a lot.
You and Joshua Valour did a review of Puck, that's my dog, a few years ago. How has it aged? Any notes or regrets while using?
No regrets. No regrets at all. Although I do have a dog, Toast, and he should review my dog, Toast.
Yeah. Happy Talk asked, where do babies come from?
Ask your mom. That's not even a joke though either. Like it is, but it's not. But tell her I said hi.
Are you both looking at a measurement graph based on facial expressions?
Well, I definitely have like an upward swing in the bass response. So
Oh yeah, if we're looking at our eyebrows
it's
only.
like an Odyssey style.
We don't have much ear gain right here, but good upper treble. So
yeah.
This is like a
Good extension.
This
Very
is like
good
an
extension.
Odyssey.
Yeah, not bad.
I just kind of like Suede better.
So do I, honestly. Did you get your hands on the Moondrop Chew 2? No, I want to. Didn't even know there was a Chew 2. Did you know?
No, well, yes, but no. I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
And then I forgot that it existed.
Well, there you go.
Around $1,000 range, planar versus electrostatic for all uses, music, movies, games, etc. I don't want a wall/toolbox of headphones for each job. That's understandable.
Planar, dude. Like you're just gonna get like movie quality bass.
Yeah.
Okay, movie quality is a bullshit term, but you know what I mean? Like you're gonna get stronger bass. Yeah. Details, it really depends on the manufacturer, right? Like if you're looking at some of the Stax headphones are incredibly detailed, but not as detailed as something like also ultra high end from a planar company like Abyss.
Yeah.
Like if you're
around $1,000.
Oh, around $1,000 though.
You could get an Aria for that.
You can get an Aria for that. The LSD2C would be an excellent option for an all-rounder headphone for music and movies.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be the most detailed thing in the world.
I think for movies, it's vocal clarity, bass extension, soundstage.
So I'd say LSD2C would be my pick, or an Aria, one of the two. But definitely
maybe.
planar. I don't think E-stats get really good until you get really expensive. When determining the value of a system, how important is flexibility compared to other factors? Great electrostatic systems are often overlooked by something more versatile at the same price. How does this factor into your recommendations?
That's tough.
It depends on what he means by flexibility.
Right. Like you're not going to take an E-stat like on a jog.
I don't think that's what he means. Like it's a system, so I'm assuming amp DAC is involved, right? Okay, so if you mean flexibility in the sense of like how many different genres is it good with? Like is it good with movies and music like we were just talking about? Mm-hmm. Is it good with classical music and EDM, or is it only good with like your specific genre? I'm assuming that's what you mean. Does that sound like
that sounds kind of like
okay.
it. I think use case also though, because like again, I'm not gonna bring an HT800S with me on this trip.
Right. I'd say this. If you have a system that's like $2,000 total, right? Divide it up however you want. I think that I would rate a system equally good if it was maybe a B in all categories, or an A+ in only one category, but maybe a D in some others.
Yeah.
Depending on who it's for. If you only listen to classical music, you should orientate your selections to benefit classical sounding music that have those sort of frequency ranges. But if you're more of like an all-rounder where you listen to a lot of different stuff, that B across the board system is going to be much better suited for you.
I think that's why things like Aria or Focal Clear are like kind of the jack of all trades.
Yeah, but they're so good. When is your amplifier going to be released?
Yes, it is. So we got the power supply done. Now we're finishing the faceplates and it's off to production. So
also, I have no involvement in the amplifier, just so you know.
I have speakers from a flea market. They seem to be DIY. They sound really good to me, but I'm wondering if I can measure frequency response cheaply. You can, but the question is, will it really benefit you? I mean, if you're going to EQ them, Sure, you totally could. Dayton EMM6 or UMM6 are both two really cheap microphone options. One's XLR, one's USB. You're off to the races.
Biggest one-hit wonder products. M1060 from Monoprice.
Yeah.
I think that was like an excellent like single series of headphones that they came out with. A lot of controversy around it, but at the end of the day, even though it had its faults, it still sounded really good for the price, especially at the time. It was like one of the only $300 planars.
It's been surpassed now.
Yes.
But at the time, it was pretty great. Now we have Sundara.
Yes, and Monoprice really hasn't come out with anything spectacular since then, in my opinion. They've had good products, but nothing really groundbreaking like that was, I think.
There was the Nighthawk, but that was really controversial.
Yeah, Nighthawk. That was like they only made 2 headphones though. Was the Nighthawk.
They made the
and
carbon
the
version.
Night Owl. That was controversial for me because that was like double the price and it was just a color change from as far as I know. Actually, I have one here. You want to see it?
Okay, here we go.
It's so funny that we're talking about this. I do love this case. It's a great case.
One thing AudioQuest always did well is they had very nicely built headphones.
Yes, nicely built.
Comfortable.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, little Biodyna in there.
Yeah. Wow.
Pancakes, waffles, or French toast? French toast for me.
I'm gonna go with a good waffle. It has to be a good waffle though. Like the average French toast is better than the average waffle, in my opinion.
Right.
A great waffle is better than a great French toast.
I could agree with that.
Current daily drivers.
For me, it's pretty much almost always been the same handful of things, like HD650, but
Same.
yeah.
Well, I do
lately-
HD600 for me, PC38X for gaming, and whenever I like go out of the house or go for a run, work out, AirPods Pro too.
The LCD 2.2, always love that. I've been using the Nothing Ear 2s whenever I'm traveling instead of the AirPods Pros lately, but the AirPods Pros are still great. It's just a handful. Whatever I'm reviewing at the time is kind of my daily for a few weeks, but I always go back to the HD650 and the LCD 2.2.
Yeah. Okay, so what are some overrated and underrated headphones and IEMs in your opinion? And what are some hobbies outside of the audiophile community that you'd love to participate in but can't for reasons? That's an interesting question. Get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Overrated products.
If you think like broadly outside of just audiophile, there's the DT990.
HE1.
Is it overrated?
It is not worth $60,000.
I cried like a baby.
No one can convince me it's worth $60,000. It's a good headphone. It's one of the best. $60,000 is just like, it's $50,000 over like the next best system.
It is a lot of money, and I would probably like, if I'm just going out of pocket in my financial situation, I would get the Warwick Bravura. Because that's like $6,000.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're like unlimited budget, sure, buy it.
if you
Because like
have
money
all the
doesn't
money.
matter anyways. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think it's an overrated. I think I'm not calling you out specifically.
No, I know.
But I don't think people naturally, if they weren't under pressure of like making a video or being on camera, I don't think they would cry naturally. I don't think, but I'm also not a crier, so I don't know.
I cried the first time I listened to him.
I've only cried like 3 times as an adult, ever. I'm not gonna tell you what they were. What are
of them
some
was
hobbies
watching, like,
outside of audiophile community that you'd love to participate in but can't for reasons? So I do jujitsu a lot.
Oh yeah.
I do participate in that. I would like to participate in MMA, but quite frankly, I don't want the brain damage. Like,
Can't afford any more.
I'm admittedly a bit of a chicken with that. Like, I just don't want to play with CTE. It just doesn't sound appealing to me.
No. I can't think of a hobby that I'd love to participate in but can't.
What about like flying or something? I'd love to get into like piloting, but it's just too expensive.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Or like, racing.
Yeah, racing is also very expensive.
Yeah. Most of the things that I can't do, it's just because of like, it's cost prohibitive.
Yeah,
How long does it take? Minute rice,
this long.
60 seconds in the microwave, a little bit longer stovetop.
Common and uncommon audio gear you both own.
Uncommon,
Uncommon.
PFR V1, Sony.
Nighthawks.
There you go. Nice and easy. Common, HD600. What headphones do you regret purchasing?
Nighthawk.
For me, it was the Sony MDR M1 ST, because the pads were like this shallow.
Are Josh Valour pads actually a thing? No, not yet. I don't really have any plans, but like I'm sure it'll happen. It just kind of.
You did that limited like cable thing.
Yeah, no pads though.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll talk to Deconi, who knows.
Yeah, they're
Shout out
pretty nice.
Deconi if you want to, hit me up. And
Wogue.
I like this. End game is just a mentality ?
It could be. I think endgame is just wherever your happy with and don't feel like the need to upgrade further. Like, one thing that I always ask people when they're like, what should I get next? It's like, well, what do you feel like your current system isn't doing for you? And in game, I feel like it's just when you get to that point where those different like facets that you care about are satisfied.
Okay, so question. Let's change categories, right?
Yeah.
Okay, for a lot of people, Rolex is the end game watch.
Okay.
If you own a Rolex though, there's always a more expensive Rolex, and there's always brands like Patek.
Yeah, but audio is way more niche, I feel like.
Maybe, but the point is like the mentality of feeling the need to upgrade is still there. So like, I don't know. I think eventually you've bought so much gear that you just end up being happy with things that are just truly really good and not just hyped for being really good. HC 600 and 650 are a great example. We have extraordinarily expensive systems. I am always listening to that headphone, you know, even today. I use it for editing and stuff. It's just fantastic. Yeah,
I've probably gone through well over $100,000 worth of audio gear, and I still use the HD 600s all the time.
Yeah. What is the biggest piece of snake oil in the audiophile scene industry? Biggest piece is in like the most used MQA. It's gotta be.
Yeah, I was thinking we just did a video on your channel.
Yeah.
About this. I don't know if it'll be out before this or not, but one of them on there was a guy that you call and he teleports a field to your location to do the tweak, and there's no actual physical product. That's a pretty big piece of snake oil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite opinion of the other?
Your opinion on avocados.
The avocados are disgusting.
Avocados are great. Guacamole,
they're
awesome.
So nasty.
Avocado toast, like a little bit of goat cheese and bacon, absolutely fire. Avocado's great. He has no taste.
Atrocious.
He's got the taste of like...
They shouldn't exist. There's literally, like, the seeds are too big for animals to pass. They shouldn't exist.
You don't eat the seed in the middle.
I know, but like...
Is that what your problem is? No, you bite into it and you're like, wow, this is so crunchy.
It's that humans have literally kept that freaking plant alive only, and it's not been spread by other animals because it can't be, which it shouldn't be because they're disgusting. Anyways.
He thinks that black pepper is spicy.
I don't think that black pepper is
like,
spicy.
This mayonnaise is too spicy for my sandwich.
I don't know, that's a hard one. You got a lot of shit opinions.
You hate how I feel about warm weather.
That's true. He loves warm weather. It's gross. Okay, when was the last time you visited a doctor for an ear exam checkup?
About 4 or 5 months. Try to do it every year.
Outside of just like the general checkup at like the doctor, like looking into it, I don't think I have.
It's good to go. Like you go every single year. They like irrigate your ear and clean it out and stuff, and it's nice. It's always very refreshing.
Would you rather 1 amp, many headphones, many amps, 1 headphone? Of course, 1 amp, many headphones.
Yeah, definitely 1 amp. I could like a JDS Labs Atom and like a billion headphones. What kind of plant is behind you? In that picture? Fake.
Now you're just giving away secrets, man. You can't just... Who are you?
Joshua Valour. Is it possible to make a surround sound setup like in your video for a bed/laying down position looking up? Like how the speaker placement have changed to accommodate that. So the problem you'd have then is you couldn't really put them behind you.
Move the system.
Yeah, but your rear surrounds, maybe you could do like, they have like pillows with speakers on them. You could do that for rear surrounds maybe. It'd be a challenge, but it's like, it's doable.
Do linear power supplies make a difference?
If they do, your amp sucks.
There you have it.
Switch mode power supplies can introduce high frequency noise. If you properly design the output filter and your device has acceptable power supply rejection, that's not a problem at all. If not, a linear power supply may still cause a problem because unless it's well regulated, it will still produce lots of noise just at lower frequencies, and it can leak through noise from mains. In general, you want your device to have a good power supply rejection ratio. That is to say, you want it to be pretty much uncaring about the power supply it has. A linear power supply makes it technically easier to design something that has a lower amount of noise on the power supply rails, but if it matters, something is very wrong.
And there you have it.
That's what I was saying. All right, well, thanks for watching. I'm Josh, he's not. Goodbye.
Like,
let me get a drink.
The what?
I need